Well, I'm here, day one. I don't see anybody. Oh, I see some people up there. Huh. Later, people. No. If I want to come on property, it's my right.
We have no rights as citizens of the United States.
And what is your name? Excuse me.
Jeez. Maybe we can't go potty now. Right now they are telling us that the people who stand down here cannot go up on the stairs. They are saying that we can't put our flags up. We're having issues right now. No, so what, we have to buy flagpoles and put them on the street, and that's what we have to do?
I don't know what we're going to have to do, but they won't let us attach them. I kind of thought that they were going to try to do that. That's why I didn't pull out the whole 6 of them.
Okay, so we're done with that. Let's talk about what happened this morning.
We're not allowed on property.
So far this morning, we went into the courtroom. The judge had issued her decrees from her office and not in front of we the people. And she ruled in favor of the government on all of their motions. So immediately Tanasi goes up and says that he needs to have time because it affects our jury questions as well. Some of those motions affect, we're not allowed to talk about amendments, we're not allowed to talk about certain things. Hold on.
Being arrested and trespassed and all that other stuff.
Yeah, well, you know as well as I do that. That's not my call.
Yeah.
That's not my call.
Well, that's what Metro said before, but they turned around and arrested somebody for trespassing.
Who there?
Joshua Martinez.
Yeah, but that was under different circumstances.
Okay, so you guys aren't going to go that
route. That wasn't just he got arrested for failing to obey a lawful order. So it wasn't just because he trespassed.
Can he give a lawful order?
He can give a lawful order, yeah. He's hired here as security.
So people who come here aren't allowed to go in to use the bathroom?
That's up to them. I don't know.
So, sir, are people down here allowed to go use the bathroom?
I can't go up there. Then I said, how can I go into court?
Are they?
And then he says, yeah, you can go into court. So how do I go from a protester to that?
Well, I don't have...
He won't let us hang the signs up like we did for a month and a half.
Yeah, I was in the meeting that said you can't attach anything to here. Who made that decision? I don't know. I did hear that. Again, it's not my property. All I asked
Okay, so then at that point, we're not protesters because he won't let us protest. So...
Again, you have to ask him. You can ask the supervisor or whoever. I can get somebody out there.
Okay, you hear that, people? We are now going to need to provide our own flag stands to put our flags up down here. We're not allowed to attach them to anything. I believe that any protesters that are down here won't be allowed to use the bathroom or go inside. They refuse to answer my questions.
And the last time I did that, I made sure
we even cleaned up trash.
What's here, but it's not my call.
Yeah.
Okay?
So whose call is it? Who do we complain to?
They know they can't.
Somebody in the federal study. He knows. I have city, county. It's gonna get hot out.
So, sir, are people allowed to go use the bathroom if they're down here? So a person that's protesting can't step onto these stairs? He refuses to answer any of our questions.
While I've got you here, I got a question. Off-road right here in front. Now, according to...
Just make it quick.
Okay, good deal.
Thank you.
Impeding traffic is
Oh yeah, and not only that, I make sure that we don't have anybody get in the way of traffic. I put my flashers on, and just as long as it takes just to offload.
I try to use common sense.
Are you live? Okay, good deal. Thanks a lot, Sergeant Stewart. Lieutenant. Oh. Right on, dude. Thanks.
Okay, so once again, they are trying to prevent us. They say we have to stay on the sidewalk only. We can't go on the stairs. We can't attach anything to their little pillars. We can't put our flags up. So we're going to need to come up with another way to hang our flags, possibly hang our banners. And the people who are going to be down here will have to stay between this sidewalk here. Let me show you. So this sidewalk, see those pillars? They're not allowed to go on the other side of those pillars, and they're not allowed to step onto those stairs. So all the people have to stay down here. Once again in the courtroom, Gloria Navarro decided to last minute rule in the favor of the prosecution on all of their motions, and so defense asked for an hour to go through things and talk about things because they just got it this morning. Of course, she's done it last minute, just like always. I don't know if she has ruled on the motion to dismiss the charges based on the Brady material. That's an important one. I know that last trial it was ruled that 3% of Idaho could not be brought in because it was irrelevant, and all of a sudden this trial it's relevant. We're seeing corruption at its finest here this morning. They're telling us that everything pretty much that we did last time we can't do this time, and they're going to make it as hard as possible on us. So we will be starting late. We won't get a bathroom break after this, and I don't know if lunch will be late or not. So lots of happened this morning. Keep us in your prayers. Any ideas on ways to keep our flags going and stuff without the manpower, because we don't have a lot of manpower down here to hold enough flags. And there's a few people in the courtroom. Oh, in the courtroom today this morning, they had a bunch of observers sitting in the front row. They didn't even say the front row family members. I, of course, went and sat in the middle of all of them and complained that they should be in the back row. If they're saying the prosecution side, the jurors, they need to be in the back row because this is our side, and we are, it's just ridiculous. Family members should be able to sit close and see their loved ones. As it was, I was on the end of the first row, and my husband is beginning of the first row, so it was difficult for me to even see him where he was, but I'll get in there pretty early when we go back in, and I'm going to take up that front row, so push him to the back. We are at lunch break, day one of the retrial of Tier 3. First, I'm going to start out with the judge ruled on a lot of the motions this morning. She ruled in favor of the government on all of those motions, and she issued her decrees from her office and not in the courtroom in front of we the people. She did, she doesn't want to have that discussion in the courtroom. About 10 minutes before the trial to give the defense absolutely no time to prepare, especially because some of her decrees and some of the motions affected the questions that we can ask the prospective jurors. We also found out that today we are allowed to bring in the pocket constitutions. They are not going to go through that this trial. And we are allowed to wear our We the People shirts. We are not allowed to wear brand shirts. Our We the People shirts are okay. There's still no phones allowed in that courtroom. There was a little confusion. They said yes at first and then no again. And then down at the court steps, there's a lot of changes. We're not allowed to attach our flags. The people that are protesters out here are not allowed, even on the steps, are not allowed inside the barriers, only on the sidewalk. And they gave us a lot of problem with that this morning. a little bit about the judge's motions that she granted the prosecution, talking about a lot of the reasons that they came, First Amendment zone, Dave Bundy, Margaret Houston, they cannot bring that up. That is their only defense to say the conspiracy, the interstate travel and aid of extortion, certain charges. They need to be able to say their intent because those charges are based on intent. She kind of flirted around that, didn't really give a full answer. She said they have an intent if they can bring it in, otherwise they can still bring it in. Court for the remainder of trial, not for jury selection, will start at 9 a.m. and end at 5. There will be no court Thursday or Friday of this week. They will have a late start Wednesday and Thursday. That is of Todd Engel and Greg Burleson's sentencing. That's how that will work. We will be here for sentencing first, and trial will begin, I believe they said, after 10 days. August will be 9 to 5 every day except for Friday, and then Tuesday, August 15th, they will start late at 10:15. So that's about the schedule we've gotten so far. They said that there could be extra dark days, but they're not sure. The judge herself actually mentioned the Constitution once. She was talking to the jurors, and I thought that was interesting because she is free from mentioning it at any other time. Also, we now have only 3 prosecutors: Stephen Myrie, Nadia Ahmed, and is Nancy? What is the first name?
Something Creed.
Yeah. Aaron Creed. Dickerson is no longer on their prosecution side. We had some new names added to the witness list, and one of the most interesting was Stuart Rhodes was on the witness list. Lots of questions from the jurors. I mean, a lot of people talk about how they saw it on the news. People talk about how they knew Tom Jenkins, Stuart Rhodes, they knew Michelle Fiore. A lot of people said they formed opinions. We had people that worked, their husband worked for the company that protects the federal buildings. Let's see, lots of travel plans, people that work great, that don't want on. Other than that, we've pretty much only gone through the beginning and actually started to ask questions to the jurors yet. It looks like a good portion of them will be let go for reasons that they want off the jury, or for reasons that they said they saw it on the news and they have formed a biased opinion. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Anything else? You know, we have a lot of people that have started to show up. We had people coming into town pretty far. We still need lots more support. I know next week we'll have lots more. Once again, we will not have court this Thursday or Friday of this week. I believe the extra, we need people out here Wednesday because Jeff Sessions will be in town. He's going to be talking here about sanctuary cities and violence. And
He's going to speak at 8:30 a.m. So we need people here bright and early on Wednesday as much as possible. There's probably going to be some
counter-protesting.
There's sanctuary city stuff going on as far as protesters as well. But we need to make sure that we have the message out there so that if something does happen, to see what's going on, to come by and be more visible to them. We want to make sure that he understands that we're something different than that.
One thing, they did tell us we couldn't hang the flags on the handrails, but he did come back kind of in an apologetic manner or whatever and said it's okay for us to come over into this area, so we can set up everything here and have our flags here, even though this is the real property. They're giving us nookie dokie here, so that is one. Other than that, or we can go across in the median. I don't know people.
Across in the median?
No, I'm using that option because probably we go over there in the median and they'll tell us we go.
Right. So did you hear that they came back after the live stream this morning and they told us we couldn't put flag up, and they told us we were allowed over into this area, not on the stairs, but over into this area. We can hang our banners over here, and
he didn't say we could. We're going to try it anyway.
we're going to try to hang our banners over here, and we will get makeshift flag poles and do whatever we have to get our flags up. And so that'll be an ongoing thing. So
is it in kind of a sense it's going to be an area where we're set up then?
Sure, but I think if we have signs or something, we should be walking back and forth.
Right.
Use this for as rest.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
We were also going to try to set up a Jericho March on Wednesday. If Sessions is in town, we need as many people down here as possible. I like to do a Jericho March Wednesday morning, again at lunch, and again as we end the day. So anyone that can come down here and hold a flag, come bring your flags. We'll have extra. We've got signs. We've got all kinds of stuff. We need your support. So please come down here. Wednesday is the day we need you.
Cool.
That's all I've got for right now.
What you got? Oh, okay.
We're good.
We're good.
We're good?
All right.
All right.
All right, we're trying a new mic right now. Can you let me know if you can hear me?
And please let me know if you can hear me too, okay?
Nobody yet.
Okay.
We'll give it a minute to let some people get on.
Yeah.
There's one. Richie Du Bois.
All right, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
We're testing out a new mic.
We're testing out this mic. Please let me know if you can hear me, and also if you can hear Neil.
Yeah, here's me. Can you hear me?
I got it good.
Can you say if you can hear Neil? Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Can you guys hear Neil? Yes, we can hear you both.
All right. Okay, so we're going to start this and do the last update again because a lot of people were saying they couldn't hear. We went in today and the judge had ruled on the motions while she was not in the courtroom. She wanted to rule on these motions and put her decree out there, not in front of we the people. She didn't want to hear any arguments. She just ruled for the prosecution. So she has limited our defense and limited the questions that we could ask the jurors. I believe we couldn't ask any questions about the Constitution, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. I did feel that our lawyers did a pretty good job working around those parameters. You have anything to add?
Yes. Well, of course, as Andrea has spoken, first off, I want to say I'll never do as good a job as our man, John Lamb here, but I can do my best while he's absent. He has some family things he has to take care of. Yes, as Andrea said, the big or bad news today is Judge Navarro granting these motions in limine by the government. They are effectively muzzle the defense by forbidding any of the defendants to talk about their motivations or their reasons for being there at Bundy Ranch. It's as if they just dropped out of the sky with guns in their hands for no reason whatsoever, and the only thing that Navarro wants to hear the jury to hear in the courtroom is that fact that they were there. Obviously, there's a gigantic, very powerful reasons why they were all there. So this is a really outrageous move on Navarro's part, but as they have seen, granting these motions today it just adds on to the long list of government motions that Navarro has granted that are destructive to the defense. On the other hand, she's granted hardly any defense motions. I want to say we got lucky today. We got some clouds, a little bit of rain. How do you like that for Las Vegas? The rest of the day, or just about all the day, was taken up with an extremely exhaustive vetting process with all the different jurors, both being questioned both by the prosecution and by the defense team. Individually, their views on different matters, whether or not they can be impartial and fair and focused. As Andrea mentioned, the defense guys, while avoiding any direct questions about the Second or First Amendment, they still managed to get in a few little things in there that showed the knowledge or lack of by the jurors. I have to remark that I don't recall this entire process, exhaustive process of vetting the jurors, as being done at our trial up in Portland. It went from our jury questionnaires, in which a number of the prospective jurors were eliminated right off the bat, It went right from there into the regular voir dire process where the jurors were brought in and the prosecution and defense had the opportunity and the right to go ahead and reject any of them that they wanted to without explanation. Our work today was rather more like a debate, but the final decisions were made by Judge Navarro as to who and what juror was going to be kept and what juror was going to be rejected. I think there still is a preliminary process, though, that we're still going to have voir dire at the end of it all. So we'll see. But this is very, in my experience, we didn't do this kind of thing up there in Portland. Whether it has any importance or significance for us on the defense side, I'm not too sure, really. Gosh, let's see. It's wonderful to be here with the gang again. I had to say that. It really, truly is.
We're glad to have you down here, too.
Yeah. So come on down, folks.
We'll let this nose go by for a minute. Okay, so when he's saying that the judge is releasing a lot of these witnesses, they're being released based on their answers to the questions, if they show their bias one side or the other. Some of the things that happened this morning, we are now allowed to have our pocket constitutions inside the courtroom. We were informed that when we got here today. We are also now allowed to wear our We the People shirts. And they said we cannot wear any branding shirts like the VO or the LV shirts, but we can wear our We the People shirts in the courtroom. Then downstairs we were having some issues because they were saying that we could not be inside the perimeter, we cannot be on those stairs. Now the court goers can be on the stairs, but if you're outside and you stay outside and you're technically a protester, you cannot go on the stairs, and they were even saying that we could not make it inside the building. I think later on they came back down and said that we would be able to go to the bathroom. Is that correct, David? Did he come back down and said that we were allowed over in the shaded area and that we will be permitted to be over here, and we were allowed to go into the bathroom? Did he say that?
He kind of backtracked it on that because I said, okay, I want to go to court. He goes, well, you can go to court. I go, okay, then I guess I'm not a protester now. When do I become a protester? I'm not a protester. I'm a supporter.
Right.
But anyway,
What is my state of mind at the time?
Yeah.
Right?
You can't say that.
Okay, so, and then...
Bad cop to good cop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was another thing, the judge herself mentioned the Constitution in the courtroom. That was almost amazing because she pretty much tries to avoid that at all costs. Another thing, Nick Dickerson, I believe his name is no longer on the team of prosecution, so he is no longer in the courtroom. Another thing that was interesting is Stuart Rhodes was on the list for the witness list. There was a lot of new names. They were all highlighted in yellow, but I think Stuart Rhodes...
I think he was on last time as well, right?
His was highlighted, wasn't it? I believe it was highlighted. One person was actually released because she said she knew who Stuart Rhodes was, and her husband drove her to Bunkerville at some point there during the time. So when we go into the actual questions, this is not the questionnaires because they talked about some of that, but when we go into the actual prosecution and defense asking their questions, the government started out with a few questions, and they were really trying to get around finding out who the Second Amendment supporters in the courtroom were. They were objected to their line of questioning for that first question, I want to say 3 different times, and then finally had to reword it. The judge actually had to tell her what the question in the questionnaire that she was talking about was so that she could reword that question and not get into these other questions. One of the questions that she asked that was objected to is if you were instructed to find a defendant guilty of a crime and then you were asked to find them guilty of using a gun during that crime, would you find that hard to do? They really tried to work some sneakiness in here in the beginning. It started out their questioning pretty on a low note. They weren't able to get past that with the objections, and the judge did not allow it. Then she tried to ask if anyone would have a problem if someone brandished a weapon. That was immediately objected to because it goes to legal standing, and she had to move on from that as well. They also asked questions if they would find it hard to judge a crime where a police officer was the victim, and if there was anything in your beliefs that would affect how you viewed the case. I want to say that there was very few, I want to say less than a handful of people that actually answered any of those questions for them, and then we went right into the defense. Stephen Stewart's lawyer, Tanasi, asked if they would ever consider protesting, if they knew anyone that protested, or if they would be against protesting against the government. Nobody in the jury pool said that they would be against protesting against the government. Then we talked about a few people that did have people or friends that had gone to a protest, went through some of those. Then we go to Perez. He asked how they get their news, whether it's local news, social media. We had a lot of questions about social media. Leventhal asked how many people knew what a CCW was. Good one. And a raise of hands. This was an excellent question. And then how many people had it. Let's see. Lots of people said that they would look forward to hearing both sides of the story, that they were happy to be there. Who was it? Tanasi had, Marchese had some good conversations with a gentleman where he said discourse. He mentioned civil discourse in an answer to one of his questions, and he took that and went around the group asking them what civil discourse was and what they felt that was. It was a really good line of questioning. We got to know a lot about these jurors. This jury selection has got a lot different than the last one. I remember the last time everyone who was asked a question and answered a question, they were all gone. We knew nothing about the people that were left in the jury box. So far today, they haven't used any of their peremptory strikes, but so far we pretty much know everyone that was left in the courtroom. They talked to everyone. I think at the end they asked if you hadn't spoke yet, and passed it around to hear from those people as well. We ended the day today. Sessions will be in town and down here at the courthouse on Wednesday. We need to get a lot of people together for Wednesday. We want to do a couple of Jericho marches. We want to do one early in the morning. We need to have people down here 7:30 so that we can march around the building while Sessions is here.
Don't we have a set court session tomorrow at 8 in the morning?
Yes, but we can march. We can march before we go to court. Okay, is what I'm saying. We need to get bodies down here.
That we do have court tomorrow.
Yes, we do still have court. Tomorrow is Tuesday.
8 a.m.
8:30.
8:30.
8:30, and then Wednesday we want to do the march around the building. We will still have court on Wednesday. We want to do another march at noon. We want to keep this in their eyes. We will possibly have other protesters here. Sessions is in town to talk about sanctuary cities and violence. And so we really want to show our support for this. So if you are in town or anyone near and you can get down here, bring your flags. We need to be down here at the courthouse at 7:30 so we can march around. We've got lots of support. I would say we have more people today starting jury selection than we did last time starting jury selection. That's exciting. I saw a couple posts about us not having supporters down here, but we actually have more than we had for jury selection last time. So I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Please share the messages. I know that we live streamed the situations that we were having with the security with the building, and some people took that as us being anti-cop. Now, the Metro officer did come down, and we had a nice discussion with him, and we didn't exactly see eye to eye on things, but no one was rude. But you did see what was happening when I came down. There was already something going on. So that wasn't all of it, but we needed to have that on film so that we can have a record of what was going on. Because what was happening here is our rights as protesters down here at the courthouse, they are stomping on our rights down here. Now, the Metro officer, he was very nice to us and did say that, you know, we could unload on the road and that we needed to, he wasn't in charge of telling us we could be on the stairs or couldn't be on the stairs, and that we needed to bring that up with the people that were in charge of that. And that gentleman did come down and elaborate a little more, but we are still going to complain because we have the right to be on those court steps. We have the right to have our flags down here. So we're not sure if that's just for while Sessions is going to be here or not, but we will be following up on that. That's pretty much all I have. Do you have anything else, Neil?
For the Republic, ladies and gentlemen.
Have a good night.
See you in Vegas.